All right, good evening, commissioners. I want to call to order at 7:02. I want to do a quick roll call. Start with Vice Chairman Nicholson.
Present.
Commissioner Nias.
Present.
Commissioner Beisel.
Present.
Commissioner Borka.
Present.
I'm present. We have all members here, and we have enough to do a quorum as stated by the bylaws. Quick vote for the adoption of the agenda. We should have everyone should have the agenda in front of them. Quick roll call. Commissioner Nias.
Approve.
Commissioner Beisel.
Approve.
Commissioner Borka.
Approve.
Vice Chairman Nicholson.
Approve.
And I approve. The minutes have been adopted, approved 5-0. We want to do the adoption of the agenda. So real quick vote for that. Commissioner Nias.
Approve.
Commissioner Beisel.
Approve.
Commissioner Borka.
Approve.
Vice Chairman Nicholson.
Approve.
And I approve. The minutes have been adopted. I want to go to open it up for town staff for the introduction on the item of the agenda for the public hearing.
Thank you again, Chairman. So the application you have before you tonight is for CUP 2022-001. It's coming from Pooch Perfect Pet Spa. Next slide, please. The proposal, it's a request from Pooch Perfect Pet Spa to open a dog/pet grooming facility at 17742 Main Street. Next slide, please. Again, as this is a conditional use permit application, these two bullet points are what you are considering when approving or denying this CUP. Next slide, please. And here it's just a quick background on the site itself, the location and character of the site as well. The site is 0.2 acres. It's located on the corner of Washington Street and Main Street. So it is diagonal directly from our current location. The subject site currently contains 3 primary structures. Currently on the bottom right-hand side, there is a thrift store located there. And in the rear, it is a residential space that they are going to be tearing down in the coming months. And the space that Pooch Perfect Pet Spa will occupy is that 900 square foot space on the bottom left. Sorry about that, everyone. And for this use for the parking space requirement, there's no defined parking space rate in the zoning ordinance for the pet grooming facility use. So what I use in determining this was the space requirement for the veterinary space requirement, which is 3 parking spaces, which would require the space at 3 parking spaces. 10 are provided. There's going to be more on site as they demolish the other structure in the rear. Besides that, that's all the know about the site. Again, I would also like to point out that this site is in the historic overlay district, so any changes done to the exterior of the property or any signs added to the property would need to get approved by ARB. Next slide, please. Staff recommendation. Staff has determined that this proposed development is consistent with the comprehensive plan. We also feel that this will benefit the residents of the town of Dumfries and Prince William County, as dog groomers are in high demand in the area. After talking with the owner of the business. They actually don't have any appointments until June available. They're all booked up until then. They're currently operating out of a space at her property in Prince William County in a shed. So obviously with the current space that they have right now, it's around half the size of this new space. So it's around 400 square feet. So with this new space, there's going to be a lot more room for them to operate, and they're going to hire more staff as well. So there's going to be jobs being brought to the town as well. I'd also like to add that the proximity to the presidential area and the Main Street area alone will be drawing people in who may have dogs or cats as well. They also provide grooming opportunities for cats as well, but it'll allow residents to actually bring their pets by foot into the space as well to get groomed, which again, there is no other dog groomer in the town from my research, at least that I was able to find. So again, this is something that is the first of its kind in town. In addition to this, staff concludes that the development proposal will not adversely affect the health, safety, and general welfare of the persons occupying the site, as well as those in the vicinity of the site. As such, staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit subject to the development conditions that were listed in the staff report. And that is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Normally we'd open it up for public hearing at this point, but since we don't have anyone here from the public, I'm going to go straight to open forum and comments from the board. So I will start with Commissioner Weisel.
Yeah, there's two buildings here. They're not sharing a wall with a residential unit, are they?
No, so the residential space is in the rear.
Okay.
So it's the one that's behind. It's the building behind. It's the building behind the two along Main Street, and the building in the back is actually currently vacant, and they are going to be tearing it down at some point soon because it's unsafe to be in.
Yeah.
So no, the dog grooming facility will not be near that property or that space.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Nias, any questions, comments?
Yeah, so how many grooming station inside there?
I believe at the when they submitted the floor plan, there would be 4 to 5, just depending on the staff that they have. Again, they're pretty small in terms of their staff workload, but they plan to have 4 to 5, and they may increase more. But as a part of the development conditions, we propose that they can only have up to 25 dogs in there at once. And again, they might have like small dogs all the way up to very large dogs. But I'd also like to point out that they won't, it's not going to be they won't have any dogs staying overnight.
Oh, okay. But still, it's just the parking is the problem.
Yeah, the parking. Yeah, so generally speaking, what they do right now is they just have them drop off. So they anticipate they shouldn't have too much of an issue with parking at this point. I know, and that's something I'm going to work with them at the certificate of occupancy stage, just so that we have a good plan played out then, so that there's no traffic caused by people dropping off the dogs. The other good thing about this property is that there's also a path/road that goes up over to the abutting property next door, which is the barber shop property, which also they'd be able to drive straight through and then go out the front. It's a lot easier of a site to go through than it is here, for example.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Commissioner Borka, any comments or questions?
Sure. Presently, the Dumfries Animal Hospital
Okay.
has a whole section that's a pet grooming business,
Mhm.
separate from the animal hospital. It's adjacent to it in the same building.
Mhm.
And that's on Main Street in Dumfries. So we're essentially looking to have two pet groomers within, 1,000 feet or so of
Yeah.
each other.
Yes. So the other thing with that, so that's a great question. While they'll be in close vicinity to or another, not all of the people who will bring their pets to the new facility will be people who live within the town of Dumfries. So they come from all over the area to have their pets groomed. So that's a great opportunity. I didn't know that about the animal hospital, but that's great to know. But yes, so that they'll be in close vicinity to one another, but I don't believe that they would take clientele from one another. Currently, the new facility, they aren't accepting any new clients at this point. So it's only going to be those who are current clients of them.
Vice Chairman Nickerson, any questions or comments?
Yes. So that space used to be occupied by a church, correct?
Yes, correct.
So, are they redoing plumbing in that building? How much plumbing do they have in there?
Yes, so
About hair and all that stuff?
yeah, so they are going, as soon as they get approval from this, they're going to work with town staff to get the plumbing permits that they need to install all the sinks, all of the grooming stations. They also just installed a new water tank for the property as well. So with this new use, they've done a lot of TLC to the interior of the suite. So they are doing all the improvements they need to operate at full capacity.
Okay. Yeah, that was my one question.
Yeah.
Only question I have is, as far as hours, that will be determined during the whole certificate of occupancy. and all
Yes,
that.
yes. And I believe this is by appointment only. This is by appointment only operation. So they are not allowing any walk-in appointments. So with that will kind of make it a little easier for them to operate because they have the allotted time and for their clients to come in with their dogs.
That's my only question. If there's nothing else, I will call for a vote to approve the conditional use permit subject to the development conditions provided in the report. Commissioner Niaz,
Approve.
Commissioner Beisel,
Approve.
Commissioner Borka,
Approve.
Vice Chairman Nickerson,
Approved.
and I approve. The conditional use permit passes 5-0. Want to open it up for, well, before a motion, one more thing. Do we have anything else from town staff?
No, if anyone has any questions though about this status of any current projects or any projects that you all have seen in the last few months, if you have any questions, I am free to answer them right now.
Go around the room. Anybody?
I do have one thing. What,
Vice Chairman Nickerson?
so the apartments or however you want to call them, that's
Yes.
back behind the 7-Eleven over there with Bank of America.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about that. How were they able to approve that parking lot going right through the right of way of where the power lines are?
Great question. So they had to get approval from Dominion, in order to get that parking lot installed, there's a whole permit process with them so that the power lines don't actually fall on the cars, because there's a lot of issues that would arise out of that, obviously. So insurance reasons as well. So there has to be, you can't really build anything that's tall or anything that would possibly cause any power poles to fall over. But yeah, they had to go through a permit process with a Dominion. And I just found that out because I asked the same question during this process. And that's for any project within the area. It's something that a lot of times you aren't able to build anything under. So there's a lot of space that goes unused. For example, I know a great project I saw was in Fairfax County, I believe, it was Fairfax County, or it was somewhere up north, where they actually had trails underneath all the power poles so that people would be able to run and bike underneath them as a form of passive recreation, and something that would be beneficial to the people who live there. So
We were wondering if they ever had to service, if they had a serious issue over there, what are they gonna do about moving all those cars out of that parking lot?
that's a great question. And that's something, that's something that I think when this property was rezoned in 2016. So that's something they would have had to take care of back then. So I'm not too sure. That's something I probably need to look into more, because there's been a lot of things that happened with that project over the years, but that's a great question to pose.
All right, nothing else. Someone like make a motion to adjourn? All right, second?
I'll second.
All right. Call for a vote for adjournment. Chairman Diaz?
Approve.
Sorry, Chairman. Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Beisel,
Approve.
Commissioner Borka,
Proof.
Vice Chairman Nickerson,
Approve.
and I approve. The meeting has been adjourned at 7:19.